Goldman.
Hi.
How are you?
I feel like we're living in a weird zone today.
I know. It's kind of like cloudy out, and it's just
Cloudy
like
in my head, too.
But it's a holiday weekend.
Maybe that's
it's
why.
the unofficial end of summer, which if you're watching, I don't even know, is our YouTube thing on? Because I can't see us on there, so.
Yeah, but it's not live.
I know, but I'm talking about later. Peter's like, I know, but it's not live. No, but what my point is that I'm very casual today.
Oh, yeah.
For the holiday weekend, I'm like in the
I'm just
summer
casual
zone.
because this is my normal.
No, you're so super cute.
rolling out of bed.
Super cute, super cute. All right, so
Brush
we have
my
a really
hair.
good show today. We have a lot going on, so we really need to
Hop on it.
Chop, chop.
Chop,
So,
chop.
how to catch a deadbeat dad.
Yeah.
We're going to have somebody on, a mom who, after 15 years, her kids and she tracked him down. And I'm not going to give away the story.
Yeah,
but
don't bury the lead.
fascinating story. And, disclaimer, like neither one of us is dealing with anything like that. So nobody can sue us for libel or slander. So
I see air quotes.
Anyway, we do that.
what?
Anyway. So what's going on?
Nothing. I am finding myself feeling really frantic, and I know that we talk a lot about. We're going to have someone in a couple weeks. That's going to talk about decluttering our life, and I could really use her right now because my brain. I went to back to school night for my son, his first year in junior high last night, and I totally, for the 10-minute time that I was supposed to focus on what the teacher said, I probably retained about 32 seconds of what she was saying because I was like somewhere else. I was like swimming in my head. I was totally focused on 100 other things that I need to be doing, and I had to pinch myself so that I could get back to reality.
Did you actually pinch yourself?
I did. I was like hitting my leg because I have too much going on, and I feel like I'm on overload, and I'm looking forward to a weekend with no basketball for my kid. I have my fantasy football draft on Monday, so I'm preparing for that.
Kim's getting her dude on.
I know, I'm getting my dude on.
So it's funny that you say that because I'm trying to pull it up because this is how we roll this week. The whole thing of being crazy and do you feel like you're always trying to please everybody?
I don't know. I'm trying to just honor my commitments. I think that's part of it. It's not even about pleasing everybody.
Well, and we have to do that as a parent and
a professional and as a person and a friend and a woman, and we both have things outside of our show here that take our time and
busy
our
lives.
attention. So I'm a people pleaser by nature, but I think I'm learning how to adjust so that I'm actually just taking care of business.
Right.
Yeah.
Business, huh? So heartsandtrueharmony.com, which, no one's really ever heard of, but they did this whole what, do you really love yourself? There's a question or signs that you really don't love yourself, that you don't really love yourself. Sorry. I am we are serious. Wait, take two. One of the things that is sign that you don't love yourself is one doesn't love him or herself, is that you try to please everybody and you run yourself ragged trying to be everything.
Why? Because you're always looking for validation from others,
or just that you can't say no and put yourself first and prioritize yourself.
Well, it's funny. I think we've talked about this before. Being selfish, I think people always attach a negative connotation to that, but I've really learned how to be more selfish. And I say that because I want to make sure that I'm putting myself first, to make sure that I'm giving me time to recoup and rejuvenate and repair and heal, and before I give to others. And so I think it's an art to be able to put yourself first and not at the sacrifice of doing for others.
Right. Well, the other one is, do you feel like you're never enough? How do you feel?
Do I feel like I'm never enough?
I mean, is that
sometimes I have those moments that I feel like I can't do it all. I'm not enough. It's not working. Things just aren't going my way. I think I get a little bit of that, but those are just self-loathing moments that don't really last that long, because I am who I am and I'm proud of the way I live my life, and I'm only capable of this person.
Right. But not feeling like you're not enough is, there's one thing that I can't do it all, but there's another if you're not I think I used to internalize it. If I didn't get everything done, it was a flaw. And now I'm just, I feel like life has gotten more and more unreasonable, and expectations of people have gotten unreasonable. We always go back and forth with technology, and someone texts you or Facebook messages you, and if you don't respond, like within 2 minutes, you know, whatever. I remember when you used to call, and it would ring and ring and ring, and if they weren't there, you'd call again. You know, or mail. Like, your friend's not home, and you know, she'll call you when she gets back. Like,
oh my God, I remember going up to the door and saying, "Hi, is Molly home? Can she play?" "No, sorry, she's not home from school yet." And I would walk away with my head down, like so disappointed and hurt. And I go back an hour later. "Is she here yet?"
Yeah, it's crazy. So later in the show, we're going to talk to Cheryl about her experience with her ex, but also Nancy later in the show. Look at me, I'm just so on the ball today.
No, you're thinking before you speak.
I am thinking before I speak, which is new. She is going to be on. She's a career management. She's in career management and transition coaching, which is fancy. But in actuality,
I want to see your business card.
That's a long business card. So we're going to find out how you can move toward the career you really are meant for, like us in radio.
This is quite a move for us.
It really is. So what do you got? What else?
You know, I think
I'm such in holiday. I'm sorry. I'm in long weekend mode already.
What?
Is anyone else in long weekend? Well, look, people are running by the window, just like
what? Doing aerobics outside the window?
Yeah.
I am feeling. I'm feeling a little bit like a little carryover, a little hangover from our conversation with the Millionaire Matchmaker.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
If you didn't catch that, go to broadscast.com right now. Well, actually not right now because you're listening to this after the show, and listen to that interview because I loved it.
Yeah, but I was challenged to try to put myself out there, and one of the things that she had said was that you need to treat dating like a referral system, like a referral process when you're out with other people, and you always like tell people that you're single. And I really find that I'm having a difficult time with that.
So telling people?
Yeah, I just feels funny, but I challenged myself this week, and I did it twice. I did.
You did?
I did. I did
what
it
did
twice.
You tell?
Well, I'm not going to tell that.
Well, you told like friends that you're looking?
I made comments. It was very funny. Someone posted something on Facebook that they were looking for a 6'1" handsome, athletic model for an ad, and I'm like, and is he single and available? And then someone wrote back, he's my 19-year-old son. I'm like, whoopsie doodles.
Oh.
So that didn't work out so well for me in that realm, but no, I'm trying because I'm really trying to take baby steps to move some things out of my way in my own life.
I love that you took the advice, and if you took the advice from last week's Millionaire Matchmaker show, you definitely have to reach out to us too on Facebook, Twitter, or call 661-298-5487 and let us know. But, do you feel like her advice was helpful?
I feel like it was a challenge, and I think, it's forcing me, I think, to exercise muscles that I'm not comfortable exercising, like the suggestion to go somewhere alone.
You don't like to go places alone?
Not unless I have to. I mean, I had to go to back to school night alone because I'm my own parent here, but in life, no, I'm not. I don't tend to.
Do people usually bring dates to back to school night?
They usually bring their spouse, or no. I just no. I don't like to. I don't have a problem with. I love when I see other people sitting, alone and like championing themselves to go eat by themselves or go get a drink by them. I just would never. I'm just not that girl. I get too uncomfortable and nervous, and then I focus on my phone, and then I look just like that person who all they're doing is focusing on their phone.
Right.
I'm very insecure, despite certain characteristic traits.
Which would you rather, though, being at back to school night all by yourself, or being there with an ex across the room? Like
that happened last night. That was so
you
fun.
Always see those couples.
I had
former couples.
A friend of my son. I know them for a long time, and I didn't connect it. I saw the dad walk by earlier, and then I saw the mom. She and I are friends, and she came in, and she was so uncomfortable sitting in class with me. I was trying to crack jokes and like be the class clown, and then she gets up. She's like, awkward. My ex-husband and his new date or new wife are already behind me, and she's like, we have to follow each other all night doing this process. And so I'm thankful for those moments.
New date or new wife?
I don't know.
Those are two totally. I don't think people bring a date to those things.
Well, you never know. He wants to show that he's a good dad. But no, I actually think it's a girlfriend. But but no, I'm grateful I didn't have to deal with that. And everybody knows me that I'm just Sam's mom, so.
Right.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny how we're like relegated to the name of the child's parent?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So I don't know. There you go. That's what I have. So, but it was a fun experience. I'm going back to school night. One of his teachers, he's the history teacher, and he
is he cute and single?
No, not cute. I mean, he's cute. No, come on now. I don't want to be thinking about my son's teacher that way. But he loves history, and it was like oozing from him, and I was getting so excited that like now I want to like go read along with my son because he just loves his lessons so much.
Really?
His lessons plan. Yeah, he had like gladiator music going on when we walked in, and there was stuff. I mean, he just loves teaching, and I got that impression from all of his teachers, and that's such a great feeling. I left there and I came home. My son's like, who'd you like? Who was the best? What classroom did you like? Tell me everything. Don't miss a beat. I'm like, who are you?
Wow.
So yeah, he's super excited, and it just goes to show, and I know you posted something recently about how teachers make a difference and how thankful you are for that. So it was a nice reminder.
Awesome. Yeah. Hey, so on a totally separate note, did you hear about the three drunk women walking
on the bus?
School bus. There's a joke there. 3 drunk women walk into a school bus.
Yeah.
There's actually no punchline because it happened in San Antonio.
Yeah, so these women, I remember looking at that briefly. So there was a school bus. We don't have school buses that much.
They have no connection to the school.
They just wandered onto the bus?
onto a bus full of kids. The driver didn't notice.
And they sat down and started talking to the kids, right?
Yeah, it wasn't until the third woman, the one who sat by a middle schooler, tried to exit that the bus driver realized something was up and asked for her ID. They're banned from the school's campus. One woman faces an assault charge after grabbing a student's arm, and another was cited for having alcohol on school property.
Wait, was this in the morning pickup or the afternoon drop-off?
I'm trying to figure out.
How do 3 grown women drunk, because I've seen you and I in that situation.
I've never been.
Get onto a school bus.
Because after a couple drinks, everything seems like a great idea.
I've done my share. There's no doubt. But I just mean, how does the school bus driver not notice 3 women who I'm going to wage a bet are bigger than the middle school kids? How do they stealth like? I'm not a stealth drunk.
Yeah.
Are you? I know you're not, actually. I've had experiences.
I think I am. That's the thing. That's the best part. It's like, I think I'm being all like, I'm so sly.
Yeah, no.
And then it's like, knock things over. And
I have another friend like that.
You have a certain... You look like you're thinking back to a certain memory.
It was a weekend in Hollywood.
My 40th birthday.
Oh, what? Yeah. Did we lose you for a while?
Oh, yeah. Oh, didn't I go for? I went for a walk.
You went for an urban hike.
Yeah, I went. Well, it was my birthday, and it was midnight, but it's a Hollywood Boulevard. Like, so many people are out. The lights are out. It's like walking in Times Square. Like, how could you get hurt?
Yeah. So,
I say that, but of course, if that were one of my kids or something, I would.
Of course. Well, one of us, you would have been mad. But yeah, so these 3 women get on the bus, and I'm a little perplexed by how the bus driver didn't notice. I mean, what was he doing?
What's the craziest thing you've ever done after? And
I hijacked a limo.
What?
My friend Michelle and I, we did the exact same thing in San Francisco. We had a couple too many cocktails, and we got ourselves into a limo, and we told the driver we wanted to go, and he started driving, and then like 20 minutes later, he's like, "Wait, you're not my people." I'm like, what? And he's like, "You need to get out." And we grabbed a bottle of champagne, and off we went. And he left us in the middle of the street in San Francisco.
His people probably had no idea where he was.
No, and then we thought we were so good that we thought we would try it again. And so we literally stumbled onto another, it was either an SUV limo or like another limo, I can't remember. And we opened the door, and they're like, "Not this time." And they slammed the door on us. And yeah, it was pretty funny. We thought, fool me once. What is that phrase?
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me.
Yeah. Anyway, we ended up with a nice bottle of champagne on it. So off of that. But yeah, we did that. What's the craziest thing you've done?
I don't know. Probably gone for that food.
Oh, come on.
So our guest is on hold. Peter, you're not even telling us. What?
I
signed it.
You signed it?
You signed it? Oh, Peter, we don't talk.
Can we take our caller? We can't take our caller.
Don't worry about it.
Peter's having some trouble. She could hear us talking. She says she's on hold.
I don't have her anymore.
Really? Maybe she can hang up and call back, so Peter can answer. Oh, see, you're having a cloudy Friday too.
Peter's in the air. What?
He's our hello.
Hello.
Yeah. Oh, how about some headphones?
Is she here? Wait, this is such a funky
Did you
day.
hear her? It's
Wait,
such
hold
a
on.
weird day. We're not even plugged into our headphones.
I've been playing with the. That's a whole other story too. Here, wait.
With the cord?
Yeah. Sorry.
So I know if you're listening right now, like, I hope you're starting your long weekend as well. It sounds like actually this is the craziest thing we did while drinking, but I promise you we're not actually drinking.
This is our show that we're doing to create bloopers, right?
Yes, this is our blooper show. We just don't take bloopers from other episodes. We just make them all in the same episode. Oh, you want me to have that one?
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry. Oh my God, we're rookies.
My goodness, I know. You'd think that this was our first episode.
Tara, are you on the line?
It's
I'm
Cheryl.
here.
Oh, Cheryl. Sorry.
I'm listening to all of you guys chit chat.
Oh my
I'm glad you're
God.
not talking about me.
Oh no. Oh my goodness.
Welcome to the show.
How are you?
Okay, so I'm just going to get right into it. Like I read your story and my jaw dropped, literally just wide open, probably a little drool. You got a divorce many years ago.
15 years ago.
15 years ago, and your ex was not paying child support. Like right away he didn't pay, or just
off and on. I mean, the only way he would usually pay is if he was called into court. And usually he would show up. In the early years, he would show up and make a big chunk payment and then be on his way, and then we'd wait another 3 or 4 years for it to happen. But he totally went off the radar and disappeared, I would say about 6 or 7 years ago. So then it's been like a wild goose chase. We, got him once and then disappeared again for the past few years. So it's been very difficult to track him down in a state that's not that big.
So recently, though, your kids are like super sleuth, like and so what happened? What did they do?
They started helping me because they said, college is coming. It would be really nice if we could get the dad fund, even if he doesn't want to, help us out and be around. Dog's barking. Sorry about that. So they started kind of researching online and wanted to do it all for free, looking up business records and whatnot, finding businesses that are owned by his family and him too. So kind of came across stuff, found out where he was in the general vicinity, and we just started going down there and taking a look. And the first time was a total fail. He took off.
So he saw you guys and took off. Like, and this is a guy who he can afford it. It sounds like.
Oh, most definitely, yes. Many vacation reviews. That's another reason we found him. He does a lot of TripAdvisor reviews of all the fab vacations he takes. So, yeah. And you never just use your real name and email, okay? Just don't do that if you're hiding.
Right.
And so he made eye contact and slipped out, and the police at that time said, okay, well, he took off, so there's not much we can do. And it's just a bench warrant, so we can't do anything after 5 o'clock, so don't wait around. So we figured, he's a creature habit, let's give him about 3 weeks, 4 weeks to settle back into his routine. And we took my older son, who's 17, his friend with us. So she was our undercover, and she went into his store and pretended to shop and asked if he was there. Well, he loves to own things, but doesn't really like to work, so we figured he was probably hanging out back. And they said, she said, can I use the bathroom? Oh, the boss is in the bathroom. She said, okay, bingo. So she texts us, and we're like, okay, boss is in the bathroom.
Oh my gosh.
Call the police. The police come, and they gave us a really hard time. Can you identify him? Do you know what he's wearing? They went through the whole thing. We can't really help you if he's not in there. I said, he's in there. He also has a nice loft apartment that's above the business overlooking Newport. It's a beautiful spot. So they went in and they looked around. They said, he's not here. I said, I guarantee you he is in this building somewhere. And they said, well, it's not our problem. If you spot him, call us back. My kids are running up and down stairs looking around, and all of a sudden my son spots him walking out the back.
Wow.
And he's walking. So they run to the back to get him, and the cops are walking. And they're like, are you sure it's him? Can you identify his clothing? Again, went through the whole thing. Took their time. My son had him. He got him halfway through a parking lot and confronted him.
Wow.
With a hi, Dad.
Oh, geez.
Oh, my gosh.
Such a good kid. He was just, hi, Dad. I'm laughing now, but
Yeah, like, hey, did you want to get ice cream?
I know. I thought I was on CSI. Honest to God, my heart was racing. I can't, like, even, I've had knee surgery, so I'm, like, trying to run, look like an idiot. And we're just, like, we're all spread out all over the place on our phones, like, talking to each other, like, everybody's safe. Because we didn't know. I mean,
Right.
I didn't know his reaction. I know he'd want to bolt.
And you were saying there was already a warrant, so where you live is, when a guy doesn't pay child or a person doesn't pay child support,
right?
You can
when it goes
get
over
them
a certain amount, you can get. They'll issue a warrant for them. It's called a bench warrant if they don't show up for their court date. Mm-hmm. And now a bench warrant can't be served at night, or in some certain states it can be. There's all kinds of rules.
Right.
They're not just going to go pick him up. If he got stopped on a traffic stop, they would know he had a warrant in the system. They would pull him in. They do not go out looking for people that owe child support.
Right.
And
they just kind of catch him
if
it's happening.
The top guy in the state. It's been going on for years. They didn't look for him actively. They didn't even seem to care, quite honestly.
Right.
It was just like, they just didn't care.
Right.
Well,
we gotta take a quick break, but can you stay with us? We want, of course, we want to hear the rest. We'll be right back on Broadscast.
Yeah.
Welcome back to Broadscast, 661-298-5487. We are on the phone with Cheryl. Cheryl's a single mom who tracked down
How to catch a deadbeat dad.
the deadbeat dad of her kids. So we left you at hi, Dad. So you're
Isn't that enough?
right. So did the police bring him in right there?
Yeah, they kind of sauntered up the street. I mean, these are tiny little narrow streets that we're going up. It's an old city, and
I thought you were going to say he was a tiny little man.
Oh, God, they were just like the most, they definitely weren't action cops like I'd like to see in the movies. They were just kind of wandering up the street like it's a nice day. And my son, I guess, he said hi, Dad, and he didn't really say anything back to him. He goes, are you going to have me arrested? Just don't do it in front of my business. That was all he cared about.
Yeah.
It was all about the image. And he said, no, Dad, you're going to just have to come with me. Hey, you're just going to have to do it. And he just didn't say a word, hung his head, and as soon as he saw me, he said, okay, I guess you'll get your money now. Something that I've never really made a big deal about. I don't look for him daily. It just seemed like a good summer activity for the kids. When they're getting big now and they really like, crime, and his friend wants to go into criminal investigation. So this was a great.
Wow, how I spent my summer vacation.
Yeah, we took pictures, and my son took a video, and a lot of people have said, "Oh my gosh, does it hurt the kids?" Look, they've been without their dad for 15 years. I'm the dad, and there was never any negativity about it. I said, "There's hi, Dad," and trying to be kind. I'm doing really good in school, and no response. So his concern is money. He's wearing a disguise, I think, because he didn't look like the guy I married 15 years ago. I didn't even recognize him.
Oh, honey, they're all wearing a disguise 15 years later.
I would not have picked him up in a lineup. Nothing. I wouldn't have even known him in the store. Honestly, it was really quite shocking. So
Cheryl, speaking of money, you don't have to disclose, but where were we in the arrears amount? What was
we're in the 100,000 range.
Yeah. So I'm not going to disclose anything, but let me say this.
Kim's done a little research on the topic.
So in 2012, it was reported there's $100 billion in unpaid child support.
No doubt.
No doubt, right?
Yep.
$100 billion. And there was a study that was done actually in 2011. These two people that I would love to call up and challenge, they talked about how there's a percentage of men that don't pay child support, but they do in-kind donations, basically, to the custodial parent. And it averaged about $63 a month. And what I found interesting was this was the breakdown. $19 towards clothing and shoes, $13 in gifts, $8 in food, $7 in childcare, which I don't know about you, that gives me about 20 minutes, and $6 in baby products. And they were praising these men that paid $63 or gave $63 in kind donations.
In-kind donations.
Yeah, and that's how
Donation.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's the best part.
Yeah.
So,
I'll
okay,
return that.
so let's go back to your story. That's fascinating.
I know. I just
Yeah.
was curious how much she contributed to
I love statistics, so
Yeah.
that's
I got plenty, Cheryl.
I know.
Okay. Keep 'em
Yeah.
coming.
Like I said, she does a lot of research in my little air quotes. But okay, so flash forward. So they get him. You go to court, and what
Yeah, we had
happened?
to wait like a
I like
day.
this part. What happened in
it's
court?
So much fun. Yeah, but this is like, I'm 4 days of this. After 4 days, it's not so fun anymore. But the next day I had to go, he had to be held overnight. They transferred him to the big house, I call it, not the local jail, but with the big guys. And then the next day, show up in court, sat there for 8 hours, and the judge decided I need him to see a different judge, apparently someone that was a lot harder than he is, and because he just wouldn't say anything truthful at all. And they knew it. So they put him into the next day, went back into this courtroom with this judge. I'm just like, I love him so much. I mean, in 15 years of heading to the courthouse, he's done the most for me in a day.
Wow.
And, he basically told him, he asked him, he said, you just made a payment. He had a payment made for him, apparently, of $10,000. And he said, where'd you get the money? And he said, well, I just started working. Now, the judge knows all of everything because all the business papers are there. I have stacks of papers I gave him. And he said, okay, you just got a job. He said, in a sub shop. He goes, you don't work in a sub shop. Where'd you get the money? Well, I've been saving it in a shoebox for a couple weeks. And he said, and of course, everyone.
Wow, that's I want a job at that sub shop.
I know, I love it. You just get $10,000 in 2 weeks in a shoebox, and you're good to go. And he said, I thought it was about time to get the child support ball rolling, so I made the payment. He said, you didn't make the payment. So I made the payment. It just went back and forth for like an hour. And he said, you're lying. You need to sit in jail, get the rest of the money, and then we'll talk about what else you have to pay. And he locked him up, and we're on week 3.2 now.
Wow.
And he's still in jail.
We went to court last Thursday, and he told him that he would be willing to release him to his business with an ankle bracelet, and so he could work. And he goes, no, thank you. My ex-husband said, no, thank you.
Oh.
No, thank you. No, thank you. I don't want the jewelry.
Yeah.
He asked him why, and he said, I really can't tell you why, but I don't want that. And he goes, okay, see you, bye. It's exactly what he said to him. See you, bye. Lock him up. Back again next Friday to see if they're just going to sentence him because he is in contempt of court, bazillion other things, and because of the amount he owes, it could be a criminal charge.
Wow.
So they've all. Yeah, I don't know.
So how easy was it for you? I know someone that struggles with collecting child support, and she has reported that it is virtually impossible to get anyone to listen to her case and to get anything filed so that he's in contempt. Her case is going on almost 11 years. Same thing, over $100,000. I mean, probably 150-ish. It's impossible. And, she knows she's not the only one, but she can't get anybody to file charges. She can't get him arrested. He did, get his license suspended, but who cares?
The license suspended does nothing. He owns a car. He drives.
Right.
It does nothing. It does nothing.
So when you found him, I mean, how hard was it for you to get someone to? I mean, I know you said that they were kind of lollygagging around. It really wasn't like you really wanted them to act faster. But I mean, did you?
Yeah, it was very difficult to get them to do even anything. I mean, I've caught him before, and he's gone into court, and the judges let him go with a promise to pay because at that time he looked like a clean, neat guy who ran a business. I'll be back in 2 weeks with the full payment. Go. This time, they were buying a lot more of my story, but it took me hours and stacks of stuff and evidence to bring in, and they finally have on his court papers now a non-compliant.
Right.
And everything is across the board. Difficult. 15 years of where I didn't spend most of my time doing it because I think that's a disservice to my kids.
Of course.
And I didn't want to spend money on an attorney because he'd get anything I'd capture would go to an attorney, so I became my own. Well, and if you just have to press.
And if you take it out of the courts anyway, then you don't have the same remedies that a state would have if you tried to privatize it, right?
That's right. And it's all difficult. This is like luck, maybe. I mean, it was just luck because if he had walked 20 more feet, the police were not going to chase him. You know, they're not going to look for him. They make it sound in court, like I sat through court for 4 days in the past few weeks, and they say, okay, we're going to put, you know, a contempt order out for your ex-husband, and he'll be picked up. I feel like standing up and saying, he will not be picked up.
Right.
They do not pick him up. They don't help you in court. No one will help you. You have to become your own
advocate,
private investigator, advocate, everything. I was helping women while I was there fill out papers because no one will tell them. It's not our job to tell you. Get a lawyer.
And you know,
afford a lawyer.
And you know, the other thing too that my friend shared too was that you know, the couple times that it came up in court that he was afforded the father of the child in that situation was afforded so many opportunities to do right, and there was a history of it not ever going the right way, because that's how they ended up with the $100,000+ of arrears, and all of the opportunities. You know, well, we want to give him the opportunity to do right by it, and you know,
the opportunity, as if,
you know,
and they won't
ridiculous.
do it right by it, and it takes a judge like this to finally see through the bull and say, you're a liar. You know, you're not going to make good, and I'm not going to let you out even if you pay, because now you're going to have to figure out a way. And he's talking about maybe a bond going forward. My kids are 15 and 17. The song's almost over. You know, so just pay up. Give me a certain amount of money. I don't even, honestly, I wish I could donate this money, because
I know a couple places.
Yeah.
No, okay. Cheryl, don't do that.
No, don't
do that.
That's how I feel.
I know.
Because it is hard. And then you can tell whoever this is that is chasing down this money, there's an element of guilt about 3 days in when your ex-husband of 15 years sitting in jail, and he's not a thug, and he was a good guy before whatever happened to him, and you feel guilty, and you start calling everyone and saying, I feel so bad. I just read about what happens in prison. And they all slap you really hard and say, what are you talking about? So
you didn't do this to him. He did this to him.
Right. And it does kind of, because he's always had that kind of control of the situation, saying, well, you know, you do well for yourself. You're okay. The kids look fine. And then I'm like, well, maybe they are fine. Maybe I don't even need to do this.
Right.
But now I'm good. You know, now I'm good when I see him in court, and he laughs in court, and he said, there's no way I'd wear one of those ankle bracelets. I don't think so. I can't even get a clean shave here. You didn't have a clean shave when we picked you up, dude, so that's okay.
How did your kids, I mean, you know, people always talk about what you're supposed to talk to your kids about as it relates to your divorce and your settlements and support and all that stuff. What did they know? I mean, I know you said that they became a sleuth.
For years, they really didn't know a heck of a lot. They just knew Dad wasn't coming around and whatever. You know, it just was not. My older son, who was 20, I could talk to him a little bit more, but he really just doesn't want to talk about that. It's just like, he said, Mom is out of sight, out of mind. I just don't, he doesn't like to talk about it. My younger two, financial stuff, no. I mean, I never really addressed that stuff. It was, you know, I didn't say, you can't see your dad because he owes money. That wasn't the case. He didn't want to see them. So I never had to address any of that. And I wouldn't care, even if he owed money, if he wanted to see them. It didn't matter. But I didn't, as they were younger, no. But as teenagers, it's not that they want to talk about it 24/7. They're interested in how the whole thing works, and it is the subject of my son's college essay, and he's already started it, and I've read it. It makes me cry, you know, and how people don't change, you know, how you give them the opportunity and the benefit of the doubt, and how they don't, and how it's made him into, you know, definitely a believer in doing right by people. And I read that, and I was like, yeah,
wow,
so cool. He's going to be so good, you know. So they're fine. And a lot of people wondered that, oh, should they have seen their father get arrested? Absolutely, because they're old enough, and it's not scary for them. This is an adrenaline rush. I think we should have bought champagne after, because it's been a long time coming. We ate a lot. You know, we ate a lot, and that was it. But I think it depends on their age. You know, I've never badmouthed him. I've never sat and said anything. We saw pictures, you know, in books.
Right.
That's their dad. But they don't call him that. They call him Scott.
Right. Well, clearly, you know, you've done a great job with your kids. And, I mean, we only have a minute left, but what would you tell other people in this situation, in this scenario,
call me and I'll help you.
And honestly, if people reach out to us, on our Facebook page or at broadscast.com, we can connect you. I don't want to.
I definitely would help people.
We're trying to keep it private, I think.
Anything. There's all kinds of, there's a lot of resources online. Never stop, but don't consume yourself with it, because the money that you would have to spend, unless someone's, I don't know. I just don't recommend anything that's out of my pocket. It all goes to my kids.
Right.
So don't spend your life doing it, but just do it as a hobby and find them and then get them.
Well,
get them good.
Congratulations, and I'll definitely be following your story, and we will, and keep
Congratulations.
us posted. And
Thank you.
Thanks so much for joining us, Cheryl.
Thank you, Cheryl.
You're welcome. Have a great weekend.
Thanks,
you too. I love broads. So I'm going to walk out and get our next broad in. So Kim,
Okay. Oh, do you want me to sing?
Tell a story or sing or dance or something.
Oh my gosh. No, listen, that my Life Beyond Broadscast is all about advocacy and about helping others. And I love that that's what Cheryl was doing when she was down at the courthouse, that even though she was battling her own situation, that she was willing to help others, because it really is such a system that can suck you right in and you get so overwhelmed by. And
yeah, I can't even imagine.
That.
And and just those kids are clearly strong, and come on in, just go ahead and sit down there, and strong and well adjusted they seem, and so that's awesome. So we're ready for our next guest. Hi, Nancy Karras.
Do you want our friends to come in too?
Yeah, she can come in.
Oh, is that okay?
Yeah, of course.
Take videos of you too and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
We're like a big party in
Come on
here.
in.
right,
Come
let's
on in.
have
The
a
more the
party.
merrier. So Nancy, talk to us. So you're a transition coach and
Correct.
career management.
Yes. So what my background is senior HR management
For like 20 years.
for 20 years in corporate America, and I've spent all my days identifying the ideal candidate for corporations and then managing those people's careers.
So you know what these corporations are looking for in people.
Absolutely.
So you know how to make sure you're here. They always
Hug
say
it,
put it around
hug it.
like you're hugging it, so that way people
I'm in.
Forces you to
I'm
sit,
in, baby,
sit
I'm
up
in.
right too.
So, from the corporate side, you know what they're looking for, so you can actually coach on the personal side.
Correct. I've spent so
fantastic.
many years in the boardroom behind closed doors that I'm ready to share my secrets from the boardroom.
I love that.
And I think that it's time
Sassy.
for people to get the secrets to success.
Right.
Because we all don't realize how the power is in our own hands.
So
Yeah.
there are so many people. I think that this is such an interesting time in society that people are going from, instead of those 9 to 5 or, punch the clock for 40 years, they're really starting to tap into who they are
And
a
what they
little bit
wanna do
more,
with
and
their
what they
time.
want to do.
Exactly.
Yeah, because work is such a huge chunk of your life. Like, it takes you away from your personal time, your family, your friends. So you should be doing something that
Correct.
fulfills you.
Correct.
So, but
What do you tell people that come to you and say, I'm just not feeling fulfilled in my professional life?
Well, I wake up happy every single day. And I
Is that
love
No bragging in this room, Nancy.
every single day I wake up happy.
do you have a prescription?
I do. I love my job and I love my life. And what I've done is I was able to align my personal goals with my career goals.
Okay.
And when people take the time to really do that and match those two things up, they do something they love for a living. And then it doesn't become work.
Right.
It becomes a joy. Job hunting becomes a joyous activity because you're so passionate about getting that dream job. So I encourage people, don't just get the next job. Don't just, people tell you you're good at math, you're good at accounting, you've been so good as the HR leader. But out of all those things that you do every day, what in that do you really love? What's your intrinsic motivator? What do you get up every day and say, I can't wait, I'm going to record this show. I'm going to have a great guest today. I can't wait to get up. That's where you want to surround yourself in life.
And how do you deal with the people that are stuck in I've been doing this for 20 years and they completely want to take a different route, and how do you get them over that hump of how do I risk not having the paycheck anymore, and how do I risk starting over at 50 or 45 or whatever the age is?
Well, first of all, I think that so many people have so many limiting beliefs, and we hold ourselves back.
Right.
And like a jogger who's running, what we do is we throw hurdles in front of ourselves, and we stop ourselves. I'm too old. I'm too fat. I'm not experienced enough. I don't have the education. And before we even go out and try to achieve what we want, we tell ourselves it's not ours for the taking.
Right.
And that's absurd. So I encourage clients, I have a 7-step program, 7 steps to your dream job, landing your dream job. And what I believe is that if people follow a very specific path, it's a mathematical formula, and they follow the 7 steps, they can identify what is their calling in life. They can then determine the steps specifically to get there. Who are the people we have to meet?
Right.
And then it doesn't become such an insurmountable hurdle to those people who are saying, Nancy, I've been in my job for 20 years. I'm 55 or 60 years old. Who will hire me?
Yeah.
And what I say to them is turn your perception around. You're a wealth of information.
Right.
You're a wealth of experience and expertise.
Right.
And you're here to help mentor and teach other people how to
Right.
succeed.
That's a great point.
That's your place.
I'm calling out my sister-in-law right now because she just left her job, and she's in her 40s, and she's just getting on LinkedIn, and she's just getting her resume, and she hasn't had to do any of this in years. And she does that. She's like, "Well, I'm middle-aged or whatever," and I'm like, but you haven't, it's when you're no longer relevant is the issue. So you can be the right age,
right.
I mean, at any age,
Right.
but if you're not relevant, that's,
Right.
but if you're staying up on things and in your industry, there should be absolutely no problem, right?
Well, it's a
Or
very
at
good
least-
point that you bring up. In order to be relevant, what you have to do is really be aware of what it is that you're looking for and want to do. And once you know what that is, you make sure that you have the tools, the resources, and what you want to bring to the table. It's how you present yourself. Traditionally, we regurgitate our work history. From 2000 to 2015, I worked for Smith Barney, and then I left there and I went to so-and-so and I did this.
Right.
What people need to do today is, let's say I'm coming to work for Broadscast, right? And I know that you are focused on something really specific. I'm going to study that. I'm going to look it up. I'm going
Right.
to know it. So that when I walk in, I'm an equal person in the conversation. And you see me as someone who brings something to your table.
Right.
The me-centric generation is over.
Right.
I need a job. I'm looking for satisfaction. Now it's about what can you do for the company or the organization or the project or your dream to make it happen.
So it's a change in perception.
I interview a lot of people for my work, and I'm always frustrated when people come to me and know nothing about what I do. They were just answering a job description, and then have no questions for me. And I'm not that clear that I've explained everything possible that is expected to them. So I'm always really frustrated when people, nope, I think you answered everything. I'm like,
How could that be?
how could that is? Yeah, and I don't, and I rule them out. And I know this is old-fashioned too, but if I don't receive a thank you note, I was raised with the handwritten thank you note.
Yes.
I get that we're email these days, but I received a text once as a thank you. I'm like, no, that's not going to work for me. And I wonder if I hold people to a standard that's unreasonable when I'm in a hiring position, or an expectation for the environment that I want to be working in and the people that I want working around me are
I believe
participating
it's
in.
creating a culture
Yeah.
that you really want, because you want to surround yourself with like-minded people. And that's another mistake people make. They go into environments they know nothing about, and there's an opening, right? So we look at the job postings, we fill out the application, takes us all day just to get it cut and pasted in.
Right.
And we just become a number on a huge pile. But if I say I'm interested in these companies, these industries, these people specifically, and then I understand them, I can go in and be much more prepared.
Right.
Have a list of really targeted questions to ask you. So
Okay, good. Actually, we're going to take a break.
Yes.
Nancy, your voice is so soothing. Like, I'm so dreamy right now. We're going to take a break.
We want to talk about some transitioning in life transitions.
You're listening to Broadscast with Kim Goldman and Jackie McDougall.
Welcome back to Broadscast.
Hi.
We're here with, sorry,
Yeah.
Nancy, I'm kicking you under the table. Nancy Karras. So
It's better than throwing her under the bus.
it is.
That is
certainly.
true.
I'll take
So
a
we
kick from you.
tackled the career, but you're one of the top transition coaches in the nation.
Right.
What does that mean?
So
I know what top in the nation means.
Exactly.
It's a transition.
Right. So to me, I believe that career and personal life are so intertwined, and that today we're all working because of technology 24/7. So in order to be successful, you have to balance your personal life and your business life.
Right.
For sure.
Okay.
Right? So I think it's really important that people look at both. I never coach someone about their career and it doesn't end up becoming something personal.
Right.
They've got family issues, they've got their own blocks and challenges,
Right.
or they just don't believe in themselves. There's all kinds of things. And so to me, transition encompasses a lot of things. So when I help people, I help them transition to a better perception and a better way of life because they become the CEO of their own destiny.
Okay.
And they recognize that they have the power to change. You have to step outside of your box.
Right.
And you have to be willing to be uncomfortable.
Do you get a lot of people, like there are a lot of moms who take time off, you know, and they aren't necessarily up on the industry, or they want to do something else than maybe the industry they went to school for, and they have experience in, or just, you know, people who are working that 9 to 5. I always say, like, sliding down the dinosaur, you know, at quitting time.
Right.
And
Right.
Hey, you pulled a Flintstone reference out of that.
Right.
But, you know, how do you go from one to the other? I mean, it's a pretty hard jump.
It is. I had a crush on Bam Bam back when.
Awkward.
So I think moms are a really interesting group because moms are some of the most skilled people out there.
Right.
If moms really write down on paper and translate what they do into a corporate vocabulary, they are responsible for the finances. They are responsible for the real estate. They are responsible for the management of the team. They are responsible for all kinds of things that we don't give ourselves credit for.
Right.
So to me, moms already have all it takes to step back into the business world. They just think they've lost it all because they stepped away from it for a brief period
You know,
of time.
it's funny. My best friend, her husband was fortunate enough to be able to stay home and raise the kids and take care while she worked. And he's just now putting himself back into the workforce. And he was like, how do I do this? And he started to apply for jobs. And one of the jobs was to take care of elderly. And he wrote that I have no caretaking experience. And the person said, you've been
Yes, he
taking care of
does.
your children for 12 years.
Yes,
and he
he
went,
does.
oh, yeah, look at that. It
But
just,
he's
you don't,
lucky that they saw that, because I think
but it speaks to
It's
what Nancy's saying, that
perception.
you don't
It's how
put the value
right.
on,
You
and,
have to
it's
value
hard
yourself.
to take that personal situation, then be able to apply it to the professional. Especially when you've been out of it for a long time and you're kind of feeling like I don't belong here because I've been
Right.
here for so long, and you've boxed yourself in, like you just
But
said.
on the other
So-
hand, you have a mom who writes a resume, and she talks about how she's, you know, managed hundreds of thousands of dollars as the PTA president, and you know,
Huge.
this, that, and the other thing, and you know, jobs. Some places laugh at that,
Yeah.
like, come on, that's
The
not a real
PTA,
job.
yeah.
Even though, you know, maybe volunteering and being on a board and handling event planning, and I think, how do you maybe take those experiences and present them in a way that doesn't seem like a joke?
and marketable.
So we are entering the age of entrepreneurship. The world is changing. And people will no longer have these long-term opportunities and the loyalty from companies that they had before. People will be doing much shorter stints and more project-based work with each other, collaborative efforts. And so for women who want to transition their skills and be able to go out there, they can think about things that are needed out there today. So for example, what about a concierge service in Santa Clarita? Somebody who goes out there, who's a mom, who wants her own schedule. So the idea is to match your personal goals
Right.
to your career goals. So if you're a mom who says, I still want to be around because I don't want my kids to get into trouble in junior high school, then you create your own entrepreneurship.
Right.
And you can really go out there and take your talents and expertise and find the niche for them. It's just a matter of following those 7 steps, as I said. It's personal branding and how you present yourself. It's your perception and sense of self-worth. And so that's what I do for a living. I help people to identify again who they are, what their strengths are, what they love, though, not just what you're good at.
Right.
You know, I was great at being the senior HR leader, but I didn't love
Doing it.
fighting for everybody's, good success.
Right.
So speaking of personal branding, where can people find you? So that
Nice.
Do you like
Well,
that?
I like that,
So I'm
Kim.
working
Thank you
on
so
it.
much.
Yeah. How can people find you?
People can find me at my website, which is transition.coach. They can also contact me if they'd like through my office number, which is 661-309-7055.
And it's not just local people.
No, I am a national coach, and I have some international clients as well. I have
Wow,
clients
excellent.
in Colombia, Brazil, China.
Are they single? See, I'm working on it. I'm
If
doing
you
it.
want to travel, I can certainly help you out.
Thank you so much. And you're also going to be having an event.
Yes,
We've
I
got
have
10 seconds. So
I have
go.
a big event coming up October 15th in Valencia, California.
Can they find
And
that
it's
on your
called,
website?
Yes, 7 Steps to Landing Your Dream Job.
Excellent.
Nice.
Nancy Karras, thank you so much. Thanks
you
for
for
listening to
having me.
Broadscast.
Thank you.
We'll see you next week.
Have a great day.